The crypto markets are up today, really green across the board, and I'm fired up, and it's not for that reason, actually. Fired up for you about that if you bought at the dips, if you've been holding, but there's also been a ton of fake news happening, going all over the place on Twitter, on websites, on blogs, on newsletters. A lot of fake stuff happening in the marketplace, people trying to pump the price or drop the price of whatever crypto. So I want to talk about some of that fake news, specifically on Amazon accepting Bitcoin according to a newsletter, as well as people going so far as to basically make fake Charlie Lee tweets to try to drive the market price up. So I want to talk about what some of this crap is, how you can avoid it, how you can identify things quickly and make sure that you are not making irrational decisions based upon fake news or just market manipulation, whatever it might be. But really, let's kick it off with the overall market movements in the past 12 to 24 hours. My name is Rob from Crypto Bobby. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button for daily commentary on cryptocurrency as well as Crypto Happy Hour. Every 2 to 3 days, just hop into YouTube Live, talk, have some drinks with you guys, have some whiskey, talk a little bit about what's happening in the crypto world. So let's get into today's market movement. Basically, everything across the board right now is up in green, and it's not necessarily up from an all-time high perspective, more of a market recovery from the past week's negative news in the space. So if you're looking, typically the market led by Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now just below $3,800, which I'll talk a little bit about more. Ethereum actually leading the way on Bitcoin, up a few percentage points over Bitcoin and improving upon the ETH to Bitcoin ratio, which is always nice to see if you are an ETH holder. Outside of that, basically everything in the top 22 outside of our good old potentially fairy dust friends at Tether are up quite a bit from 5 to 6% all the way up to around 20%. So if you've been holding, if you bought at the dip, this is obviously a great day. At least, at the very least, you're seeing a lot of your losses or some of your losses being recovered from that dip down. Now, when I'm looking at the Bitcoin charts here, I'll pull up these charts. This is Bitcoin to the US dollar on GDAX right now. And as of the time of recording this, Bitcoin is pushing up against $3,800. It's literally $1 below as I'm recording this, $1 below 3,800, and has pushed up against 3,800 for about the past 4 hours or so, and has once broken above 3,800, but pretty quickly came back down. Basically came back down and dipped pretty hard after going above $3,800. So, according to a lot of the technical analysis people in the space. And granted, I'm not a TA expert. I've done a lot of research recently. I've actually paid for a few different courses too myself just to learn technical analysis and try to, even if I'm not going to ever position myself as a TA expert, I kind of want to understand as much as possible within every single space of the cryptocurrency world so I can provide as much value to you guys as possible. So I've been trying to teach myself TA and get a good feel for kind of what a lot of this is. But right now, Bitcoin is literally 30 cents below $3,800. From what I'm hearing, a big line of resistance is 38.30 for Bitcoin to break above. And we've been in somewhat of this bear trend for the past couple days, past couple weeks, really. And Bitcoin has bounced somewhat nicely off of the $3,500 mark, and within the past 12, 24 hours has risen from the 3,500s up to 3,800 right now, and is pushing to try to get above $3,800. If Bitcoin is able to sustain above $3,800, that might be a bit of a breakout point. I mean, we've already broken out from the lows a little bit, but that might be a point of a continued breakout if we can move above $3,800 and actually close above. But as you're seeing right now, there's a lot of people that are taking profits at the $3,800 mark. There's a lot of people that are coming in and selling. So that's kind of one thing that for me personally, I'm looking at this right now. And as I told you guys before, I took some of my Bitcoin and Ethereum off the table when Bitcoin was at around the 3860 mark. So I'm looking to see, what I'm looking at right now for me is if Bitcoin could get to that 3830 mark and kind of really sustain above it, we're going to see a run back above, and then your money might be for me, I think it might be safe to kind of participate back in the marketplace. But as of right now, if Bitcoin continues to fail to push above $3,800, I think it might shoot back down a little bit, and we might see a retreat back to 37, 36, or back to below 3,700, below 3,600 potentially. So I'm keeping a close eye on what's happening today and where that market might potentially go. The one thing I'll say here too is it's always tempting right now. I woke up this morning and I went to bed last night at midnight, East Coast time, and I don't remember what exactly the price was. The price was around, let's say it was in the 3,600s or so. I think I went to bed in this huge green candle, so I kind of missed that. But when it comes down to that, I wake up, you see what's going on in the market. You see the market is up quite a bit. And you see, you get tempted to look at this and be like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening? The market's up. If you have money on the sideline, should I buy in? Should I buy more? The market's about to go on a run. What can potentially happen here and what I think might happen is that a lot of people bought at these lows. A lot of smart traders bought at these lows, understanding that we hit a level of resistance here and that we could potentially make a move up. And they are playing this line of resistance right now at the 3,800 mark and selling their Bitcoin to people who are overly excited and thinking a big breakout is about to happen. Granted, a big breakout might happen, but I'm just going to wait a little bit longer to see if we can actually push above this mark, this 3,800 mark that we've had some difficulty passing. And if we can sustain above that, that's, I think, a good sign that we might be back in for a little bit more of a sustained run and an improvement in the long term. So that's a number to keep your eye on. Granted, if you're watching this an hour later, we could be above, we could be way below, but hopefully even if you're watching this a little bit later, that some of my comments hopefully rang true in regards to a potential breakout or in regards to a move down. But I think kind of one or the other is going to happen based upon how we can hit this 3,800, how we are moving up. But this is literally 4 hours of time now where we kind of have been pushing this line. So it's been interesting to see. And it's always funny from a psychological barrier perspective. These numbers just provide these like psychological barriers for traders and for investors. So that's been kind of fascinating for me to watch these charts for sure. But outside of that, so outside of what's been a really nice sustained movement, basically all greens as we're looking through CoinMarketCap, green, 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 green. There's one red in the top 50 Nexus. So basically green across the board. And to that point, what has driven some of that or what has maybe contributed a little bit to some of that as well? And actually going back to it too, you can see here right now, after pushing up against $3,800, it's down $10 or so. That may or may not continue to, Some people might just buy back in anticipation of a run back above $3,800. But as I'm watching this in real time, it's kind of fascinating to see how something pushes that number. And if it fails to break above, people say, screw it, it's not going to break it, I'm going to sell. And then the price drops significantly or not. This isn't really significant for a Bitcoin movement, but the price drops. Now, two different tweets actually from this guy Ron Newer. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of his name, but he is actually the host of. So he's the host of a CNBC show for South Africa. He is the host of. Let's see. I'll pull up the YouTube interview here, but he has a nice YouTube show. And with that, with that being said, he had two tweets today, or there was one tweet that was going around, and he asked about this tweet in specific, and said one tweet was going around and saying it was a picture of a Charlie Lee tweet, which is scammy in and of itself, but a picture of a Charlie Lee tweet. And he simply questioned, so no fault to Ron here at all, but this isn't necessarily in reference to Ron, but this is more in reference to whoever put this out. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it materialized, but he asked Charlie Lee if it was real or not. Charlie Lee confirmed, no, this is fake. This is BS. So Charlie Lee 2 days ago or yesterday tweeted out basically tweeted out some information in regards to China and the exchanges and their lack of, basically saying that he has sources in China and there is no confirmation that they're going to ban Bitcoin mining. And that a lot of the rumors that are circulating right now are basically false according to his sources. So somebody created, there's websites you can easily do, or you can just use freaking Photoshop, but there's websites you can literally go and create a fake tweet. And somebody created a fake tweet that was just in a picture form and said, my source says that it's likely the exchanges will reopen in China sometime in October with new rules and regulations, which is what a lot of people are hoping to happen, that OKCoin or Huobi or whatever these big exchanges are just going to basically be agreeing to something like the bit license with the Chinese government. The Chinese government's going to get a bigger hand in terms of regulation, in terms of what actually happens with the China exchanges. But this tweet is a positive thing if it was real. Like, this would have been like extremely positive. This would have spiked the news, but it was fake. So it goes to show how much people are trying to manipulate the market for positive gains. Like, if you bought wherever, like let's just say you bought super high up and you're big in crypto, or you have a lot of money in crypto, people are faking Charlie Lee tweets because he has been tweeting a lot about different rumors and price action related things to good and bad effect. But people are actually faking tweets right now in regards to what is going to happen to try to both negatively affect the news, which you've seen a lot. You've heard a lot of these rumors and a lot of these bad things about China, although some of those rumors have come true. But this is literally just a fake tweet that somebody put forward here. And you can even see, I don't know if you'll see in the video, but it's a little bit gray behind the Charlie Lee thing here. You can kind of see some areas in which it's been photoshopped. But that is, it's pretty crazy to see. So that's number one. And then the second example, and I'll get to kind of why I think this is important. Same guy tweeted out, let's see here. So the same guy tweeted out this before. So 2 hours ago, Ron tweeted, about time. Amazon will accept Bitcoin by October. 18 retweets, 22 likes, blah, 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 blah. I saw this in the morning, and when I woke up, typically when I wake up, I literally don't even get out of bed. I'll just pop open my phone. I'll check Blockfolio. I'll check GDAX. I'll see what's happening in the world. And I'll check Twitter to see what's going on. So I check Blockfolio. I check GDAX. I'm like, wow, Bitcoin's up. Ethereum's up. That's pretty awesome. And then I go on Twitter and I see, oh shit, Amazon is actually about to accept Bitcoin. And then I see the website, squawker.org. Okay, doesn't sound that legit. Click on the website. So now we're on squawker.org. Never heard of it. Whatever. Not, you don't have to hear about a website to trust it. You never had to hear about me to trust anything I have to say or to believe anything I have to say or whatever. So that's one thing. But breaking, Amazon will accept Bitcoin by October, September 22nd, so yesterday. And according to a newsletter from the James Altucher report, Amazon will begin accepting Bitcoin as potentially as early as October 26th during their earnings conference call. How reliable is this source? James Altucher has 20 companies, authored books, and is a former hedge fund manager and venture capitalist turned activist blogger and podcaster. So, first of all, this is incredibly, in my opinion, irresponsible, and I wouldn't have tweeted this out if I were on, but that's just me. But in no way does a newsletter by anybody confirm that Amazon is going to be accepting Bitcoin. And this is, in my opinion, the type of thing that you want to really, if you see something like this, and I could go off on this shit all day long. I really could. I go off on this shit all day long. But if you see something like this on Twitter, like I saw this on Twitter, and like your like adrenaline immediately spikes, and you're like, oh man, like this is it. Amazon's accepting Bitcoin. Price of Bitcoin is going to go back to 5,000. The rest of the crypto market is going to jump. This is going to be fantastic. And then I see who the article's from. It's from some company I've never heard of. Okay, like I'll take it with a grain of salt, but I'll still read the article. And the first sentence of the article is, according to a newsletter. Like, all right, there's nothing breaking about that. This is, who knows if it's paid for by the James Altucher report. Who knows if this is something that's, they're just doing to kind of get the news out about their newsletter. I mean, I made a joke. It was kind of funny timing because literally on my Twitter yesterday, I made a joke, and I made a joke yesterday about Where do we have it here? So if you haven't seen it, James Altucher is all over Facebook, all over everywhere, advertising how to turn $100 into your retirement in the next 12 months. I made a joke that said, you won't believe what cryptocurrency he's buying next. And a couple people are like, what cryptocurrency is it? I was like, I'm kidding. I don't care what he's buying, because that's just it's irresponsible to me. Even if I've heard James Altucher has good books. I've heard he has a good podcast. I think I've listened to his podcast like once before. Doesn't seem like the, and this is literally just got onto my Twitter right now as I pulled up to this. So, but doesn't seem like all this. It's irresponsible, in my opinion, to be advertising to people that they can turn $100 into $1 million or whatever. Yeah, people can do their own research and see if you bought Bitcoin at $100 in like 2011, you have a ton of money. But at the same point in time, it doesn't predict future returns by any stretch. Yeah, I'm not going to say like, I would love if my money in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency now turned into freaking millions of dollars. That's the damn goal. But I'm never going to advertise to you guys or tell you that your $100 is going to make you a billionaire. That's the type of reason I get questions from people that buy into cryptocurrencies that are worth 1 to 2 cents, and they say like, hey, this is going to go to, I bought $30 worth of this. All it needs to do is go to $10 and I'm a millionaire. Like, it doesn't work like that for the most part. It doesn't work like that. And you can even see here too. So this is the piece of news, came out at 6:23 a.m. I don't know who Scott Mullins is, but this is their newsletter that basically, this is James Altucher's newsletter that says Amazon will be accepting Bitcoin by as soon as October 26th at 4 p.m., which is why you need to act right now. And according to Overstock, Overstock CEO, so I guess I'll go into this, as this is kind of happening right now. Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne is a big libertarian. He was accepting Bitcoin back in Overstock.com was accepting Bitcoin back in 2013, 2014. They were early movers. They really don't do that much volume though, in terms of people that actually buy, but it's fantastic for the space. So let me go ahead and show you something here too. So Overstock.com, traded on the NASDAQ. As I'm pulling this up, they're worth $605 million. Granted, it's fantastic that Overstock.com, a company that is a $605 million company, is accepting Bitcoin cryptocurrency. They accept over 40, I think, right now. So that's fantastic. The CEO, I really dig what he does there. Amazon, keep in mind, $605 million. Amazon is worth $458 billion. I honestly don't think that Amazon is going to get bullied into or peer pressured or pressured into accepting cryptocurrency from Overstock.com. And a lot of people point to it and be like, well, Overstock is accepting cryptocurrency. That means Amazon will as well. Amazon is Amazon could step on Overstock.com at one point and probably kill it, or I'm just saying there's massive differences in the size and the scale and overall the power of Amazon in comparison to Overstock. So to specifically try to say that Amazon is going to accept cryptocurrency Bitcoin because Overstock is going to do it, this does not seem like breaking news to me. If this happens, that's fantastic. That's going to be huge news. That'll be massive, massive news. But I want a better source than this, honestly. For me personally, I want a better source than a guy who has a paid-for newsletter that offers a subscription-based mailing list. This seems like a great way to increase the numbers on your subscription-based mailing list. So that's my thought process there. Always, when you're doing your research and when you're seeing, just kind of getting back to the overall point on this, when you're doing your research in cryptocurrency, take everything with a grain of salt. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Take what James Altucher says with a grain of salt. Take what Charlie Lee says with a grain of salt. And try to understand what everybody's going for and what everybody is saying. So you want to do your own due diligence. If you see an article, don't just look at the headline. Read the damn article. Don't just look at breaking news. Amazon will accept Bitcoin. It's probably not true, in my humble opinion, but we'll see. And then, that's kind of my just overall thought process there. There's a lot of fake news going around. There's a lot of market manipulation. People are trying to sell out their subscription newsletters. People are trying to pump their Bitcoin bags or their altcoin bags or whatever it is. Stay safe, stay frosty in the marketplace, and just learn from as many people as possible and make your own educated decisions when it comes to things. And as always, kind of everything I say, I'm not an expert. I don't try to position myself as an expert. I try to learn as much as possible from as many people as possible and just make intelligent commentary, calm commentary based on things, and not just kind of throw outrageous statements around to pump things up, and try to give you guys as much solid information as I possibly can. And interesting enough too, as I've kind of gone through my James Altucher rant here, or my FUD, my pump rant, and of what we had talked about beforehand, that $3,800 mark continues to be a point of resistance here. You could see past 4 hours now pushed up on $3,800. Now is down about 25. So we'll see if we can maybe the next hour or so, you might see another push up, another green candle up to $3,800, maybe another push back down. We'll see how many times that goes before it either breaks through or heads to the downside. Maybe it's heading to the downside right now, but fascinating stuff in the marketplace today. If you guys have questions, sound off in the comments. I'd love to know what you're thinking about going on right now in the marketplace. So if you have questions, please let me know. I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. As always, make educated decisions. Do your own research. Do your own thing. You guys are smart, intelligent people. Don't let FUD, don't let rumors, don't let fake news get to you. Don't let it make you go through irrational decisions. Thank you so much for your time. Hit that subscribe button if you are new here. Hope you found this helpful. Rob from Crypto Bobby signing out. Have a good one. Peace.